So you want to file a certificate of live birth to prove that you're a person?
I'm not a person.
What are you?
I'm not a citizen.
Well, you said, are you a person or are you not a person?
I'm not a person. I'm indigenous. A citizen is a corporate fiction.
A corporate fiction?
Yeah, I mean, it's a definition. Like I said, this is the problem, Your Honor. Me and Mr. Matthews is having a hard time coming to an agreement about whether he's defending me or he's working with the prosecutor.
Well, you just said you are a citizen.
I never said I was a citizen.
You're an American.
I'm an American.
Okay, so
It doesn't matter. You're not parting the waters of the Red Sea with a turn signal. You turn your turn signal on. It doesn't tell people they have to get out of your way.
I understand that.
I don't care what the Pope says. The Pope has no impact on the jurisdiction of his court.
Your Honor.
Huh?
Let's move forward.
And to Mr. Matthews, is that right, Ms. Bell?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am in receipt of this additional evidence. I did mention in chambers that I do have some concerns about the admissibility of these images without there being some sort of sufficient foundation as to how they are generated and what they are actually showing. But aside from that, Mr. Burrell has just asked me to file his certificate of live birth, and I do not know the relevance of that, and perhaps is that something you want to address with the court, Mr. Burrell?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been sick in the hospital for a couple of days. I haven't had a chance to really file the paperwork that I want to file to the court. I have a certificate of live birth here that's stating my status.
What's your status?
Alive.
All right, I assume you're alive since you're sitting here.
Okay, but you know, sometimes the courts assume that you are a corporate entity.
Are you a corporate entity?
I'm not.
Okay, I don't assume you're a corporate entity. I assume that you're Mr. Burrell sitting in front of me.
So
you want to file a certificate of live birth to prove that you're a person?
I'm not a person.
What are you?
I'm not a citizen.
Well, you said, are you a person or you're not a person?
I'm not a person. I'm indigenous.
What does that mean?
I'm an American. I was born in this country.
Okay.
I'm not a United States citizen. I'm not.
What are you?
What a definition.
What do you have citizens? What are you a citizen of? Are you a citizen of?
I'm not a citizen of anything.
You're not a citizen of anything.
No.
Okay.
A citizen is a corporate fiction.
A corporate fiction?
Yeah, I mean, it's a definition. Like I said, this is the problem, Your Honor. Me and Mr. Matthews is having a hard time coming to an agreement about whether he's defending me or he's working with the prosecutor. We a lot of this evidence and stuff that's been presented to the court.
Nothing's been presented to me because we haven't had a trial yet.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. What's been presented to me, he's under the impression that I'm guilty or that he sees things that he doesn't see. And I've been trying, it's like we can't, if he's representing me or here on my behalf, then it's not showing.
Is it your position that you don't like how Mr. Matthews evaluated the evidence in this case as it relates to
not only the evidence, but just his whole attitude towards me, and period. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's clear I didn't have anything on me.
Well, that's why we have trials. The purpose of a trial is for 12 people to sit here, listen to the evidence, and make a decision as to whether you did or did not do what you're accused of doing beyond a reasonable doubt. If they find that you didn't do it beyond a reasonable doubt, then you're acquitted.
I agree, sir. But with that being said, it's things I'm asking him to do, and that it's my right for him to do, whether or not it's he believes it's okay. So if I ask him to file something into the clerk of courts, it's my right to file those things.
So he's not filing something for you?
Well, I just asked him to, and he's made an argument of it when it should have just been something he
What,
did.
what was it that you asked him that he won't, that he's
What I wanted
arguing?
him to, just to have it on the record, was my certificate of live birth, whether or not you.
I mean, what is that? Tell me, well, let's say that the certificate of live birth is filed.
Okay,
What impact does that have on your trial?
I don't know,
You don't know? Okay.
not at all.
Well,
But I do want
Mr. Matthews is under an obligation as a member of a lawyer in good standing with the Supreme Court to file things that are done in good faith and are relevant. I mean, you could ask Mr. Matthews to file a copy of your high school graduation certificate, and that has no relevance to this case, and he would be under no obligation to file it. So you want...
The defendant is choosing identity preservation over legal positioning. Declaring non-citizenship feels protective, but it strips relevance. The court isn't rejecting him, it's rejecting arguments with no legal consequence. That choice converts time into risk without creating a defense.
To file your certificate of life, your certificate of live birth to show something that you have just told me you don't know that it means anything.
Well, I know that it means something. I just don't think that everybody else.
What does it mean?
Something. I just want on record that I'm not a citizen.
Well, you just said you are a
I
citizen.
never said I was a citizen.
You're an American.
I'm an American.
Okay, so if you're not a citizen, what impact does that have on your trial for next week?
I just want it on record.
Okay.
It's not.
If you believe, okay, and if I believe that the filing of your birth certificate means you're not a citizen, what impact does that have on your trial?
I'm not looking for an impact. I just want it on the record.
Well, it's on the
My
record.
safety.
It's on the record. You believe you're
Okay.
not a citizen. Okay, now what?
All right, and then also I asked.
Well, no, wait. Let's take one thing at a time.
Okay.
You've put on the record, because she's recording all this.
Yeah,
okay,
I got that.
that you're not a citizen. Okay. So now what should we do as a result of that?
I mean, I just want my indigenous rights.
What are your indigenous rights?
You haven't looked at them?
No, you told me you want your indigenous rights. Tell me what your indigenous rights are.
Well, I know I fall under a certain constitution.
Which
and not
constitution?
Under these, the American Constitution.
You fall under the American Constitution, okay?
I believe so, yeah.
So I believe so too.
You know, the Pope put out a letter to the rights of the indigenous people. Are you familiar with that?
I don't care what the Pope says. The Pope has no impact on the
Okay, then let's
jurisdiction of
move
his
forward,
court.
Your Honor.
Huh?
Let's move forward. Whatever you decide. I also asked him for his oath of office and the prosecutor's oath of office.
Okay.
I have your oath of office. I just wanted to have those paperwork.
Okay.
From my
Anything
lawyer.
else you want to say?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay, so we're scheduled for, we're going to have this trial, jury trial, January 20th at 8 a.m. And you will be provided the jury questionnaires like you normally are. And you've, unless you have changes to your trial briefs, I've already got those. And anything else that we need to discuss regarding this trial?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Matthews?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, then you guys, everybody needs to be here at 7:45 on Tuesday morning.
Well, last time was 1973. Pizzelli, you were cited on the 6th day of April, 2:15 in the afternoon. Woodward and Buckingham, changing lanes without due care and caution. The options you have today are three. You can admit responsibility or deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
Deny responsibility. Would I be able to speak to the officer in a breakout room?
No.
Okay. I would like to deny. I'm sorry.
This is the date and time set for the hearing.
Okay, I would like to deny responsibility.
Could you raise your right hands, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
I do.
Yes.
The officer will testify first.
Yeah, Your Honor, on April 6th of 2025 at about 2:17 in the afternoon, I was dispatched to a property damage accident or a traffic crash involving this Buick Encore driven by Miss Pizzelli, is it?
Yeah.
During which it was found that she made a lane change over to the right in a lane that was occupied by another vehicle, essentially sideswiping that vehicle. And at that time, both drivers had admitted to me the same thing of what had occurred.
Ms. Pizzelli?
So there are a lot of things that happened during that situation that are confusing to me. I did turn onto Woodward going towards Buckingham, but I would say that I'm a very cautious driver. And when I made the turn, I did recognize that there was enough space between me and the cars, like coming, I'm not sure what direction, but coming toward where I was headed, for me to feel comfortable to turn onto Buckingham. As far as I know, I didn't like register that that car was separate from the pack or closer to me in any way. And he was behind me the entire time. When I was getting over into the lane, my turn signal was on the entire time. And my car has safety features that recognize that, like if someone's in front of me or behind me or even in my blind spot, to like signal to me to stop or to not make that motion. And none of those signals went off at the time of when our cars hit each other. And so I'm just a little bit, I was, unaware that he was in where he was. And when we hit, my car was going this way and, his was coming this way. And I genuinely I don't know, like he was behind me the entire time until he wasn't. And then I'm not sure if he, was trying to get around me. He saw my turn signal on and didn't, I don't know how he got there, to be completely honest with you, because
Were you in one lane and were changing into another lane?
so I was turning from, I don't know the directions, but I was like in a turnaround, like right before Buckingham Avenue. And so I was, crossing over to get onto Buckingham. Does that make, I'm not sure if that makes sense.
So you,
I wasn't driving like in the same direction as the man. I was in a
so
turnaround.
you're doing the Michigan left, so you went from one way on Woodward to the other way.
Correct. But
Okay.
Buckingham was like almost like right across from that turn. So I was just kind of like moving, like through the lanes with caution. And I'm not sure if he was trying to get in front of me or like trying to, pass me as I was, trying to get onto Buckingham. But I was aware of my surroundings. I had my turn signal on, and none of the signals in my car, told me to stop, and neither did anything that I had registered previously to make that turn.
Hey,
So I'm not
what about looking where you were going?
I was looking where I was going. I was, and
Did you see the car?
that is what is confusing. Like, I'm not sure, I don't know. He wasn't, I didn't
Well,
register.
Scotty didn't beam him down.
I'm sorry?
Scotty didn't beam him down.
I'm not sure.
I guess I'm dating myself with Star
I'm
Trek.
sorry.
But the bottom line here is that there was a vehicle in the lane that you were going into that you didn't think was there.
Right. And I didn't see, like, he was in the, like, he was far behind me from what I registered for me.
And yet the two sides of the cars were in contact with each other.
So the front of my car, and the back of his car. So as I was like turning, I don't know, I guess, as I was turning, like my car and the back of his car kind of hit like this. And that was so obviously like it looks like my car hit his car, but he wasn't like I had no, and I know it's hard for me to explain because it like the way that our cars hit makes it look like I like totally hit him and I wasn't paying attention, but I know that not to be the case. And I had
Why?
a passenger in the
Why,
car
why do you think that's not the case?
because I am a cautious driver and I especially driving on Woodward, a 4-lane highway, does make me a little bit nervous. And I know that I would not, and I didn't feel comfortable turning until I knew that all of the cars, like until I felt safe enough to turn onto Buckingham without, getting in the way of other cars or other cars, cutting a little bit too close to me. I was waiting in the turnaround until I felt safe enough. And I did feel safe enough. And somehow he came and our cars collided. I don't know if he had maybe turned onto Woodward at like around the same time that I was turning onto Buckingham. I'm not sure. But
Would it
from my
matter?
understanding, he was
Would it
not in
matter?
my blind spot. He was not in front of me. He was far behind me for me to feel safe and comfortable enough. And the passenger in my car can agree to that as well. Like, and none of the signals in my car went off,
And
which is
when
why
you're driving, you have a duty not to turn onto a road. You were coming out of the Michigan left.
correct.
You have a duty to stay there at the stop sign until it's clear.
I agree. And that is exactly what I did.
No,
So
it
I-
isn't what you did. If it would have been clear, there wouldn't have been a crash.
That is why I'm confused. And that's why
Well,
we're
but
here today.
What's confusing you is you seem to have eliminated the possibility that you goofed. You didn't see somebody that was there.
Well, I would agree with you on that, except for I had a passenger in the car and they were also very like they also are aware and a very nervous driver and they felt that they didn't see this car either. And so that is is even more
Okay, the
confusing.
car
than
is
that
visible.
too. Right.
This is what, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
The car doesn't have any cloaking devices. It's sitting there. It's 20 feet long. It's 6 feet wide. It's 5 feet high. It's visible.
Yeah.
There
Well, so
would not have been a crash if you didn't go into that person's lane.
I'm saying that I don't think that this was my fault. I do know for a
Are you
fact
blaming
that
the other
this
guy
car-
because he's driving down the road and happens to be in a lane that you want to turn into?
I do know for a fact that he was
Do you
behind
blame
me.
him because he was where you wanted to be?
I think that this is a situation where maybe
Answer
we
my
both could
question.
have done better.
Are you blaming the other guy because he was physically present where you wanted to be?
I don't blame him because he was in that lane. I do think that I do know that he was behind me the entire time.
Ma'am, if he was
And
behind you the entire time, the front of your car wouldn't have hit the back of his.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how he got
You
in.
made a mistake. You didn't see somebody that was there.
I don't.
It's possible you could have made a mistake, and the crash is kind of a proof of it.
Well,
We all make mistakes.
I do know
Why,
that
why can't you admit that you hit a car that was there?
I am more than willing to admit that our cars collided and that I do make mistakes sometimes, but I do not think that this is a mistake that I made
Well,
because
causing
I
a
know
crash
for
is a
fact-
mistake.
I'm
You didn't
sorry.
do it on purpose.
I'm sorry.
You didn't crash into the other car on purpose, did you?
I did not crash into the other
Oh,
car.
therefore you made a mistake.
I would say that I guess I know that it is a confusing situation in the
It's
way
not
that
confusing.
our cars.
There's nothing confusing about it. It's perfectly clear.
Your Honor, he was behind me the entire time.
Then how
And
did you hit the side of his car if he's behind you?
So I'm not sure if he was trying to get around me, but
Does
the
it
man
matter? He's
admitted-
got the right of way. You don't.
I'm not, Your Honor, I am struggling. I've thought about this situation so many times, and I'm just struggling to understand really what happened. And I talked to the other passenger in the car, and she also is struggling to understand how that happened because like he was behind me until he
If he was behind you, you wouldn't have hit the side of his car.
but he was aware that I was turning into the lane.
It doesn't
He
matter.
was
You
there,
don't,
and
you're not parting the waters of the Red Sea with a turn signal. You
I
turn
understand that.
you turn your turn signal on. It doesn't tell people they have to get out of your way.
I understand that. The issue that I'm having is that when I turned onto Woodward toward Buckingham, I was very confident in the fact that I could get to Buckingham with having the cars that were coming, toward Buckingham have a lot of space where I wouldn't have even gotten even close to them. So that is what is confusing. I'm not sure if this man.
You're eliminating the possibility that you made a mistake. You didn't go until you were confident, but you were mistaken. If you would have been correct, there would not have been a crash.
And so that is what I initially thought as well, because I was like, this is a mistake that I made. But upon further reflection and talking to the passenger in the car with me, I realized that I really genuinely did not make a mistake. The car was with the pack of cars that I felt safe enough to turn in front of. I'm not sure if this man had seen me coming, saw my turn signal, decided to, get around me or get past me, and then
Which he has a right to do.
happened.
First of all, you're making an illegal turn. When you make a left turn onto Woodward Avenue, the statute requires you to make the left turn into the left lane. Then you can change lanes, but you can't make the left into the second or the third or the fourth lane. When you make a right turn, you have to make it into the rightmost lane. When you make a left turn, you have to make it into the leftmost lane. The statute requires that. But that is kind of honored in the breach with the Michigan left set up the way they are. However, when there's traffic on Woodward proceeding in the way that you want to go, or if you want to cross them, whichever way you're going to look at it, they have the right of way. You have to wait for them. You didn't. There was a crash. You caused the crash. You're responsible for the civil infraction of making an improper lane change. This idea that upon reflection, you can't see that it was your fault flies in the face of the reality of the situation, that you felt confident you could go. You went because you were sure it was safe. And unfortunately, you were wrong. Fine is 170. It's clear that you're responsible. There's no ambiguity there at all. If the officer hadn't testified, if I heard only your testimony, I'd have to find you responsible. The fine is $175. It can be paid online or by mail, or you could drop by the courthouse and pay it at the counter if that's more convenient for you. Thank you.
Both cases collapse for the same reason: refusal to accept the legal premise of the room. In the sovereign citizen hearing, the defendant attempts to exit jurisdiction by redefining himself. But courts don't operate on personal status theories. They operate on relevance. Every filing must move a legal lever. When the defendant can't explain what the birth certificate changes, the court treats it as noise. That doesn't punish belief, but it quietly erodes credibility. By the time trial arrives, the record already shows resistance without strategy. In the traffic case, the posture is different, but the mistake is identical. Responsibility is treated as a moral accusation instead of a legal finding. The driver spends the hearing trying to eliminate the possibility of error. But civil infractions don't require intent. They require causation. Once that distinction is missed, every explanation becomes an admission wrapped in denial. Here's the connective tissue. Both defendants believe that if they reject the label, they reject the consequence. One rejects citizen, the other rejects mistake. The court rejects neither person. It rejects the logic. Courts reward alignment with process, not personal certainty. When someone refuses to operate inside the framework, whether jurisdictional law or traffic statutes, the outcome narrows fast. Options disappear. Fines become inevitable. Trials proceed without leverage. Nothing dramatic happens in either courtroom. That's the point. Consequences don't need escalation. They only need persistence. And once the record is set, belief no longer matters. Only what was legally done or not done when it counted.